You were a true knight. You never beat me when I didn't deserve it.
Welcome back to the channel, marvelous viewers. It's time for more A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Today we're talking about who exactly killed Ser Arlan of Pennytree. Let's get into it. The much-awaited third spin-off set in George R.R. Martin's fantasy world of Westeros is finally here. Titled A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, it tells the story of one of Westeros' legendary knights, Sir Duncan the Tall. It details his rise from a squire to the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. In this video, I'll explore the man who first gave him the opportunity to rise from the filthy streets of Flea Bottom and taught him how to be a proper knight before his tale began. Join me as we explore the cause and events that led to the death of Ser Arlan of Pennytree, Dunk's master, and its effect on his life. Let's begin.
Am I to be a knight one day, sir? As you are.
It is believed that every true warrior in times of yore dreamed of dying in glorious melee combat. In fact, our own myths and histories are lined with such individuals, whose deeds are immortalized by their valor in the heat of battle. Ser Arlan of Pennytree was one such knight, you would imagine, having had his fair share of combat on both the battlefield and in tourneys. However, the fact that someone like him had lived up to a ripe old age of 60 in a profession where getting old is a luxury should have been the first sign that fate had other plans for him. For someone who had fought both Lannisters and Targaryens, the good-natured hedge knight would die a less than spectacular death unbefitting a warrior of his stature. Arlan had been a master at jousting, but had given up years ago after having been defeated by Baelor Targaryen in a hard-fought match. It was therefore never explained why he decided to take part in a tournament being held in the town of Ashford, in the Reach, especially considering his advanced age. Regardless, while on his journey there, he would contract a chill, which was an illness like the flu. His conditions would only worsen over the coming days, with only his squire Dunk to care for him. Finally, on the third day, the old hedge knight would succumb to his illness and pass away on the road leading to Ashford Meadow, on 209 AC. A hedge knight's life belongs on the road, having no single lord they serve for perpetuity. This was something that Arlan had been used to all his life, just like his battles and jousts. In retrospect, it was fitting that he died on the road on the way to do something he had always had great love for, with the one person who probably cared about him like a father. It was Dunk who would bury the old knight on the western slopes of a low hill where the sun would set on his grave. Dunk did this because he knew that his mentor loved gazing at sunsets and thought it was fitting that he would be buried somewhere he'd be able to do so forever. For a hedge knight that lived an interesting life, this might seem like a fairly mundane place to be laid to rest, but for a kind and honorable man who loved looking at sunsets, there couldn't be a better place. Dunk had been recruited by Arlan after he had lost his previous squire, who was his sister's son, and owed his life to the old man. The hedge knight had offered Dunk a position as his squire while in Flea Bottom at King's Landing, as the boy was trying to steal a pig. The boy had decided that it was far better an option to be a squire than a Flea Bottom lowlife for the rest of his life. The two had journeyed far and wide for over a decade together and had grown close like father and son, since Arlan had no child of his own. For Dunk, the sudden demise of his mentor was nothing short of devastating. Even though he knew that the old man had embraced death with no regrets or fear, it had brought an end to a crucial chapter in the young man's life. It would motivate him to honor Arlan's legacy and find purpose in his own life, which had been solely focused so far on being his master's squire. While there are no witnesses who confirm what happened next, Dunk would present himself at the Ashford tourney claiming to be the replacement for his master, who had knighted him before his death. Taking the name Duncan the Tall, this nearly 7-foot-tall hedge knight would go on to not only honor his master's name, but build a legendary legacy of his own that would be part of the Seven Kingdoms folklore forever. In this manner, even though Arlan doesn't die a warrior's death, his passing creates a legend whose story cannot be told without mentioning his name as well. Due to only Dunk really knowing about how the old knight passed away, rumors circulated about the violent and gruesome nature of his death. I mean, how else would a knight whose life had been filled with violence have passed away otherwise? They only knew him as a valiant warrior who would survive countless battles, and assumed that his luck had finally run out. They didn't know about the kind and honorable man that he was. They didn't know about how he cared for those who served him. It was therefore only natural that the thought that he could have passed away due to illness in his old age, and lie buried atop a hill slope overlooking a sunset would be inconceivable for some. The new Game of Thrones spin-off series is filled with characters whose tales might be small in the grander scheme of things, but they add so much to the world created by George R.R. Martin. Thank you for sticking with me right to the end of this video. For now though, it's time for me to say goodbye. I'll see you soon in the next one. Until then, stay safe and stay marvelous.